Hey, Miss Brits,
Hey, what?
what you doing?
Well, I made cheese. This is a new thing for me. So, I'm not phenomenal at it yet, but I made farmer's cheese. Some of it turned out differently than others. This is the last batch I made.
Tell us about the source cow.
The source cow is pregnant.
And it's
A Jersey cow.
It's a Jersey cow, and that's the outdoor temperatures that cow has to deal with.
Salt to this one, but
And so it's winter time, and what?
said I think I added a little bit too much salt to that one.
Oh,
However, it's not untasty.
really? Well, so far everything I've tasted is so delicious.
So
Is this all the cheese that we've got? Well, hang on for a minute. Hang on. Hang on. Oh, we got some shredding going on over here.
well, it's I'm putting the crumblier stuff through first, through the shredder first,
That's
which
fine
turns it
looking cheese.
almost into like a Parmesan type.
Okay.
And then I'm going to try to shred the non-crumblier stuff and see if I get actual shreds.
All right, so we started off doing cheese by
I started off by following directions.
getting a fancy schmancy thermometer, and I calibrated it, and we were bringing the milk up to
190
190.
for the kind of cheese you make, the kind of farmer's cheese that you make with vinegar.
Right. And then once it got up to 190, you would add vinegar.
Yes, and it makes everything you would take it off the heat, add the vinegar and stir.
Hang on.
Hang on a minute.
Pick back up.
Okay.
Add vinegar.
Add vinegar and it forms curds, and then you let the curds settle, and you scoop them out, put them through a cheesecloth, get the whey out.
Squeeze through the cheesecloth. Squeeze the cheesecloth.
Yes. And then you end up with curds in the cheesecloth.
Mm-hmm.
And you add salt and you mix it in really, really well, and you form it into a ball.
What do you think now that you've dinked with it enough? Because this was the part that throughout all of the videos we watched, the ratio of salt to per gallon of milk. In your opinion, we went a little too heavy on that first ball of cheese we did, right?
I think so, yes.
Okay, so are we thinking for 1 gallon, we're thinking a third of a tablespoon?
I did 3 teaspoons
3 teaspoons.
for most. Now, a couple of smaller, I did 2.
But how does that turn out to be per gallon? When you boil it, oh, that's per gallon?
Yeah, that's per gallon.
3 teaspoons.
But you don't do that until after you get the curd, and you kind of eyeball it and see how much curd you got and adjust your salt accordingly, I think.
Yeah, because that one lady told us to use a tablespoon.
Yes, and I thought that was a little heavy, but
salty.
I don't eat a lot of salt.
So
he does. He'd be a better judge.
Heat the milk to about 190. And when you get there,
theory.
that's the theory. And then when you hit about 190-ish, then you add your vinegar. How much vinegar for 1 gallon? Take it off the heat, and then
you add a half a cup of vinegar.
1/2 cup per gallon.
Yes.
Okay.
Now.
And that's off the heat, and you stir that vinegar in, then you leave it alone and let it set until it cools down.
I also tried rennet.
Hang on, we're on vinegar because that's sweet whey. We're on what they call sour whey.
Okay.
So on the sour whey, you add the vinegar and
Let it curd.
Let it curd up and sit. And it's probably going to sit.
Mat.
It'll form.
over the top
Yeah.
of curd, and scoop that out and run it through the cheesecloth, squeeze the whey out, add your salt.
How much effort do you think you need to put in? Because we could turn out to be too dry if you squeeze too much juice out, right? That's what I think you found out.
Yeah, but you also don't want to leave too much whey in, or else it can cause problems. I don't know. Like I said, I'm new to this.
All right.
This is a new thing. I'm happy with what I got.
Then you get it squeezed out in the cheesecloth, and then you let it set overnight in the fridge, dripping in a pan of some sort.
That's what I was told.
And that worked so far for us. And now you're in the process of grinding it up, correct?
I am. And the drier stuff I'm actually making, well, you saw the bag of it where it's almost like a Parmesan cheese consistency.
Yeah.
Which actually we found out that if you add it to ground turkey,
Ooh.
makes a wonderful turkey burger. It helps keep some of the moisture in.
It acts like a juicy burger even if after you microwave it.
Yeah, which is odd for turkey burgers in my opinion.
You mix that cheese right in with the turkey meat, and all of a sudden it changes everything about turkey burger.
It does not taste exactly like Parmesan cheese, but it does add that salty little kick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we got 10 gallons of milk. And we kept it cold. However, I've got two hands. And
Miss Brits is doing all this work.
And it takes time. And I've got other things that I have to do as well. So, by the end of it, the milk was starting to go a little bit sour.
That's okay.
Turns out that's perfectly fine, except the temperature at which it curds drops significantly. Like these formed without vinegar because the pH was higher because the milk was souring.
Okay, stop there. We made cheese without adding any vinegar, correct?
Yes.
Because the milk was starting to sour.
Yes.
We're talking about things, this is the only video you're ever going to find where we're talking about how to get cheese in multiple ways. Plus, we got a pregnant cow giving us the milk, which has pH levels that are all jacked up anyway, and it's wintertime.
Probably, maybe.
Okay, so we actually made cheese without even doing vinegar or rennet.
Yes.
But
which I watched videos on as well, and this is standard practice in a lot of places.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they kind of wait until the milk goes off and add nothing but salt. This is how a lot of people, this is how it was passed down through the family.
What do you do with bad milk?
Yeah,
well, you make
to
cheese.
Salvage your bad milk. This is a happy thing, not a oh my gosh, I can't believe I have a gallon of bad milk and I'm gonna have to dump it. So
beautiful. I didn't know you did this.
And it tastes really good. Yeah. That tastes very good. That tastes good. Even yeah. Taste that.
No.
No?
I've already had.
Yeah, but they're all going to be different.
They're all different. Are you grinding them up together to make one?
No. I'm doing each cheese ball on its own. I want to see if, since this is softer.
And they're in a ball because you put them in a cloth and you rolled up the cloth and put a bread wrapper around it and squeeze the juices out. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So this is softer, and I'm going to see if it will actually shred.
Run the knife through that, see if you can do a slice.
This here, let me find a knife.
Right there.
Well, yeah, but I want to find the knife that I want.
The knife.
The knife. Oh. See, it's a little bit crumbly, but it's also cold. It's been in the fridge.
Well, yeah.
Now, I also did...
We haven't tried aging any cheese yet because we're just newbies. Oh, this is another batch of cheese.
I also made cream cheese.
Oh my God.
Now this is... I can't remember. This doesn't have the same tang as normal cream cheese.
Oh yeah, that's what we determined. We
Yeah.
determined this cream cheese is universal to apply
But we think
in
it's
whatever
gonna
direction you want to go. Whether you want to go sour, or you want to go sweet.
Yeah.
You can turn that any direction. It's very neutral,
Yes.
light
And
Philly cream cheese, but not Philly, just cream cheese. I need a flavor taster.
it's very
Ooh.
spreadable.
Out of the fridge just now, and that's how
Here.
spreadable it is. Let me give you a taste. That is so cream cheese, but it is just on the cuff of. It's missing some of that tang that you get with the aftertaste of Philly
cheese.
cream cheese.
But
That is very good.
I think, I mean, I've got plans for this. I'm just not, I haven't decided fully on which plan I'm going
You
with.
could turn that into a frosting.
Yes.
You could turn that into a cream cheese. You could turn that you can go sweet or sour on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be wonderful on bagels
Oh yeah.
or on toast with jam or whatever.
How many gallons of milk do you do up completely? I know
10.
we did 10.
10.
But you did a couple of stragglers behind that too,
Well,
right?
I tried, you can make ricotta cheese out of the leftover whey.
Okay, let's talk about that. Once you get your curds scooped off with your sour whey, which you used vinegar,
Yes.
then
You let everything sit.
you save the whey,
Yeah.
and then what do? To get ricotta, you use that same whey to do what?
You end up reheating, and I've heard that the best way to do it is to let the whey sit overnight, which we're doing in the garage because it's colder. I'm actually kind of tempted to bring this last batch of whey in and let it sit on the counter for a while, and then you heat it again, and it is supposed to form more curd, which you then strain off, and you get like a ricotta texture.
If it has the initial vinegar in it.
I'm wondering with this though.
Okay.
I don't know.
So in other words, you just heat it up and wait for more curd to show without adding anything.
That's what they say.
Okay.
Now, I have pulled, I think, hold on, this here, in this bag, is from whey.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a second cooking of that 1 gallon of milk. But I think I let this go too high temperature wise, and it melted all the curds back in, is my theory.
What we've learned here about this whole world of cheese is that if you're heating your milk and you start to see a sheet of solid building up on the top,
Yeah,
stop raising the temperature. Just level into that temperature and turn your heat off and set it to the side.
or if you notice that it's already pulled away from the whey looks completely different. It's a yellowish color. If you see that, stop.
Stop, because that's a good thing.
Because that's a good thing.
You've got cheese
Pull
sitting
it
on the
off.
top. Pull
You've
it
got
off the
cheese.
heat. It just needs to cool down so you can scoop that cheese out.
That's what I have discovered here. Now,
This was happening to us at lower temperatures.
Yeah,
because
130.
130 degrees, we're starting to see a sheet of cheese being
and if I
formed.
let it go up to 150, it would disappear, which is why I don't have quite as much
Yeah.
cheese sitting out here.
We had a lot of our milk go, I'd say at least 3 or so gallons go to waste because we were targeting that 190, and we would
Yeah.
we would get up to about 130, there'd be a sheet, but then you go up to 150 and it would melt back down again.
Yeah, and I couldn't.
And that whole sheet would disappear.
And I couldn't
and-
get it reformed.
And it wouldn't reform, and it was all garbage. You couldn't
Yeah.
even get it to come
Well,
back.
the chickens were happy. But, I mean, if your goal is to make cheese for your family, that's a problem for you.
Let me show you how much wasted milk we have. So I'm taking you out to where I can show you some of the milk I ended up just giving to nature. Whoopsies. Slipping. Here's a little bowl of milk. That was just garbage. There's some chicken feed with a bunch of milk in it. And then back here I dug out some snow so the chickens would have some grass to eat in this permafrost condition we're in. That's got to be at least 2.5 gallons of milk inside this thing that just couldn't reform. Hello, Bob. How you doing? See, I got my big old pickle jar in there with a light bulb and keeping that water thawed out so that you and your girls have thawed out water to drink. Hello. Want to be YouTube famous? So you can see we've probably got about 3 gallons that are had to be wasted because it couldn't be reformed because we heated past.
And because I'm new to it, you know, I mean.
I'll tell you what.
Another thing you can do, instead of putting it through the grinder with the crumblier stuff that's drier, is just crumble it up.
That'll make it store easier. There's no. I mean, honestly, if you're making.
And then add it to your salad.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's very tasty.
We're not after.
I'm not after perfection here.
We're not after cheese that you slice up and there's a slice of American cheese. How do they make cheese yellow?
It's an aging process. You can make yellow cheddar.
I'm almost afraid to suggest that we take one of these and hang it up and just let it age.
No, I didn't. There's other stuff. There's other.
Too risky.
Yeah, there's other things.
How many cheese balls have you ground up so far?
2, and then this is the third.
Third? That's the third?
That's the third.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11
12.
cheese balls.
13.
13 cheese balls.
Because I have the.
How many gallons of milk do we have in the freezer?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
We have like 6 or 7 gallons that are in freezer. Those big.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What are those bags called?
The Mylar bags?
Mylar bags, 1 gallon Mylar bags. I think we have about 5 or 6 gallons in Mylar bags in the freezer for milk. That's just whole milk. But this is about a part of our 10 gallon deal. So out of the 10 gallons, we got 11 cheese balls or 13?
13. And that's with screwing up.
That's with screwing up. Not too shabby, actually, because...
No.
Remember when I told you the milk smelled...
A little off?
Like it was cold from the garage, and the garage is like 30 or 28. But it's in a 5-gallon bucket, and it had a smell that was not unpleasant. It just
Smelled
had
like
a
cheese?
smell.
Smelled
you
like
know?
cheese?
I wonder if that's like a key indicator that it's about to go.
Probably.
And so it's probably going to turn to cheese earlier.
Probably.
Well, that's our first
But
go.
yeah, and by the way, I watched videos, multiple videos, of people store-bought milk that you have forgotten about or whatever, that literally had to be squeezed out in chunks into the pan. It was so
Rotten.
yeah, it was so spoiled. I've watched people turn that into cheese as well. And there are some of the videos that I said that I watched showed that this is what was handed down through families. This is what you do with this so that it is not wasted. You do not lose it. And
Wasting food is a sin.
my guess is that it probably turns out to taste exactly like.
It's so good.
Yeah. And this does not taste that different. Like I said, I'm working on the salt thing. But this really doesn't taste any different than buying farmer's cheese from a store. So, you know, it's not...
If you like Parmesan and mozzarella hybrid, that's what we have here.
Kind of.
A hybrid of both of them as one.
Kind
Mozzarella,
of. Yeah.
Parmesan. Of course, the unique thing she did with the cream cheese, well, that's a horse of a different color, but still. All right, anything else we want to share about our cheese making endeavor? And I'm glad, I'm so happy to see you're not dealing with this anymore, because
Oh, you don't even know.
this was a lot of,
It's
this
a lot.
was a lot
It's
of,
work,
a lot of,
time, and patience.
your time needs to be managed like you're feeding a baby.
Yeah.
Every few minutes you're up checking on something.
I do highly suggest,
It's
though,
either it's hungry, it needs a diaper change, it needs burped, or it needs put to sleep, or it needs calmed down, or a tooth is cutting.
Oh, I did find that I have better luck working 1 gallon at a time instead of trying for a larger pot. So if you're new to, if you want to attempt this, which I really suggest you do, if nothing else, you learn something new and it's interesting.
Heat the water to about,
No, heat the milk.
heat the milk to about 190.
Well, watch other videos about how other people do it.
Heat the milk to about, good milk that you can drink, heat it to about 190.
Take it
and
off the heat.
You'll take it off the heat.
Add a half cup of vinegar and let it sit.
Let it sit and cool for a long time.
And then
Scoop the curds.
scoop the curds, squeeze curds through a cheesecloth, add some salt, or don't add salt. You don't have to add
What do you mean by
salt.
squeeze it through cheesecloth? Wad it up into like a ball, like wrap the cloth around the curds and
Yes.
squeeze it through.
And you
and
massage it and try to get as much whey out as you can.
Put a bread wrapper around it. Stage it somewhere where it can drip into a bowl.
Yep.
And let that set overnight, maybe in the fridge.
Yep.
And then the next day you got cheese. That's for
Now
sour.
Yeah. And then Rennet, I'm not even going to talk to Rennet because I don't understand it well enough to tell you anything aside from follow the directions on the box, which I was unable to do for the most part because my milk was not cooperating.
Okay, so now that you did that 1 gallon and got your cheese, that whey that you set aside, heat it up again one more time.
I think that if you let it sit overnight, I do think it helps.
Let that
let
whey.
the acidity build a little bit.
Okay, let that whey sit overnight, maybe at room temperature.
I'm wondering.
But reheat it up the next day,
Yep.
and it'll separate out again into ricotta cheese.
Yeah, which is just small curd.
So you basically get 2 kinds of cheeses in
Yeah.
1 gallon.
Yeah. And then you get the whey, and there are about 1,022 uses for whey, including in your garden for mold and mildew. And I mean, there's really do some research on the whole cheese making thing at home and try it. What do you have to lose, especially if you have a gallon that is not really cereal worthy anymore?
I guarantee you this will reestablish your respect for milk in a different way, because you don't require any monetary, there's no money spent in making the cheese other than what you would normally do in your day-to-day life. Most every kitchen has vinegar. Most kitchen has salt.
Which is why I lean toward the vinegar in the first place. So, I mean, just so you know.
I would, this looks perfectly fine cheese. So, and then running it through the
It'll give you more.
grinder or whatever it is. What is this?
It's a salad shooter.
Salad shooter. She's running it through that.
It's a grater. I have
Yeah.
a grater thing on. But, and that's just for a more uniform texture.
This required no special tools.
No. And you don't even need the thermometer. The first cheese that I made a couple of weeks ago, I did not have a thermometer. Which I'm actually wondering if I have a problem with following recipes. I'm just really bad at not following recipes. I have to wonder if having the correct tools actually messes with me just a little bit. And I am,
You did really well by eyeball, and all of a sudden you had the right tools, and things started going sideways. Oops.
So I don't know if that contributed at all to any issues that I did have.
Our cheese looks like bread on the inside.
But all I know is we have a bunch of tasty cheese going into the freezer for use in recipes later on. And that is always a good thing. We have new ingredients.
I think that's my thumbnail right there. All right, everybody, you have a good day. See ya. Bye.